On this week's episode of BJ in the Morning, I think we're gonna talk about favorite TV shows. Let's go.
Welcome to BJ in the Morning. I'm not letting you talk right now until you stop doing the voice. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Brian.
Fuck.
I'm Brian.
Are you good?
This is BJ in the Morning. We're just gonna talk about favorite TV shows.
Have you seen Me, Myself, and Irene?
Yes.
I'm just gonna get some water.
Yeah.
That's all I thought of right now. That's it. But
Shit.
Hey Juan.
Hey, Brendan.
How you doing?
We're good.
We're good?
We're
You're
good.
answering for the both of us?
Yeah, we're good. We're doing good.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're back at our normal
Studio.
But we have
We're
a
back
desk.
at the studio talking about our fucking favorite TV show.
We have a desk now. Just pointing it out because I just don't want anyone else pointing it out. We have a desk. Like the Leonardo DiCaprio.
There's a desk.
Fuck.
Shit. God damn it.
Oh my gosh. The energy is already high.
God.
The desk is already fighting back.
Yep.
It's very...
Jesus. God
Mother's
damn it,
here.
Mother. She's disappointed again.
I don't know. She looks excited.
Yeah.
Like, oh, a desk.
Yeah, so...
Close your mouth.
Yeah, be classy. So, we're here. We're going to be talking about our favorite TV shows.
I feel like you're still kind of doing the voice.
Am
Do it.
I?
Yeah.
That's not on purpose this time. But yes,
Bless you.
We're back. Thank you. We're back in the studio. We got a desk, and we got a good 5 BJ in the Morning logos visible. If you can find them, put it down in the comments.
There's a secret one.
There's 6. There's 6
There's
BJ in the Morning.
totally 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 BJ in the Morning logos. If you can find the secret one,
tell us in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, click that bell,
Bing.
and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of BJ in the Morning. I'm Brendan.
I'm Juan. And we'll talk to you next time.
No, but for real, we're talking about our favorite TV shows today.
Yeah.
Mainly because the original idea we had for this episode didn't fucking work.
We got to do way more research.
Yeah. We've realized this.
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
After 38 episodes, though, we should probably plan these a little bit better.
It is so wild. Like, when you asked me what episode this is, I was like, I don't know.
You're like 4?
Yeah. The 4th one.
We've only been doing this for a couple weeks.
This is episode 24.
Yeah.
You know?
No. It's 38.
Dang.
And technically we did, 3 quickies?
Yeah. 39, 40.
So
at least 40
we're getting
episodes.
up there in the numbers.
Dang.
Look at us go.
Look at us.
Look at us go.
Eating chicken wings.
But also, to the listeners who've been listening since at least episode 1.
Yeah, day 1.
Even back in the day. Thanks for hanging out for almost 40 episodes.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. It's been fun.
You're awesome.
You're awesome.
Don't ever change.
Unless you're a bad person.
Love yourself.
But if you're not a good person, change.
Yeah.
Be a good person.
Yeah.
But today we're going to be talking about movies? No, TV shows.
TV shows.
See what I said about planning?
Our favorite TV shows, nonetheless. Now, we do have to say...
Little asterisk.
Asterisk, right here.
Somewhere over there.
There will be people that know us well, and they're going to be like, how come you didn't talk about this show?
You didn't talk about this show.
You love this show.
I thought you loved this show.
Dude, you love this show? You didn't even put in your top 10 favorite shows?
We already found out one that we both didn't put in our list.
Yeah.
So we can just say it now. Psych. Didn't end up on any of our lists until I was looking up IMDb and it came up.
Which is weird because I think we both watched it together. A lot.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure we might have at least one show similar on this list.
I don't know. I went pretty crazy into the sci-fi.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not. I like comedies a lot.
Yeah.
Most of mine are comedies except for one.
My whole list, I think, is sci-fi heavy.
Well, this is going to be interesting because I can guess a couple from your list. I don't know if you can. You could probably guess 2 or 3 from my list.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just making guesses in our heads, we should just jump right into it.
Jump right into it?
Just jump right into it like Philip DeFranco.
Okay.
Let's
just jump right in.
That's kind of how he says it. So you want a little Western.
Nope,
don't do it. Don't do it. So do you want to start us off with so we did rank these from our, they're a top 10 list, and they're ranked for us for our preferences.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure what we're doing more than just going over a list.
And we also didn't discuss this beforehand either. So
all we said was favorite shows.
We don't know what's on whose list.
We don't know who's on first, what's on second. No? You don't get the...
That's funny.
You're funny.
That's funny.
You're funny. But you want to start us off with your number 10?
Yeah, my number 10, and we specifically said, we agreed upon no Marvel shows.
Yeah, no Marvel shows. So honorable mentions, we can do that at the end.
Sure.
Because we both talked about some Marvel shows and some Star Wars shows that we liked.
Before, yeah.
But they're just not enough for the list.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've seen any of the Marvel shows, you know why they're not on anyone's favorite list of TV shows.
Mm-hmm. But this one is a DC CW show.
I feel like that's cheating.
Is it?
If there's no Marvel shows, why are we allowing DC shows?
Because DC is just not on it.
Like on what?
Just on it.
They're just fucking up.
Yeah.
But you have a show on your list.
That's a DC CW show.
A CW show.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to like the Marvel Netflix shows then, right? Like those, I could have probably put Daredevil on my list.
I would have put Daredevil.
But we said no Marvel.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to Daredevil.
Do you want me to change my number 10
No,
to
you're
Psych?
Good. You're good. You're good. No, because I was going to ask if I should change my number 10 to Psych, but we already said that we didn't put it on our list.
We're not going to change it. We're not going to change it.
Our list is set in stone.
All right. I already did a big no-no, I guess. I did a DC show.
No, you're fine. I was just giving you shit.
My number 10.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Arrow.
Wrong.
Flash.
Wrong.
Who are you?
They're good.
Now, I just remember watching Arrow a lot at the apartment when we lived together.
Arrow's a really good show, and that's what started it.
Yeah.
Kicked it off. The Flash was good, but it got really boring after like the 5th season.
Yeah. I wouldn't know.
Didn't care.
It was
Stopped
boring
watching.
from season 1 for me.
This show is Superman and Lois.
Isn't that a newer one?
It's newer.
Okay.
It's one of the newer shows. And to me, like, I couldn't pick between Smallville and Superman and Lois. Smallville's great.
Yeah.
But Smallville's not Superman.
No, it's...
You know what I'm saying?
It's Clark.
It's Clark.
Clark.
It's Mr. Kent.
Mr. Clark Kent.
But Superman and Lois, it's Superman.
And
Lois. And I honestly think it's a great Superman show. Mm-hmm. Some of the Superman action sequences are really good. Mm-hmm. And the story is different. It's not the same. You know, they move back to Smallville. They have twins. They have kids already. I'm sorry. And you know, like the show is about Superman, but it's also about
Lois.
No, surprisingly.
Oh, she's not in it at all.
It's about the kids and them growing up as Superman's kids, and then one of the twins, only one of the twins getting Superman's powers.
We know who the favorite is.
I guess so. But that's kind of the argument there between the brothers is one of them used to be the favorite because he was like an all-star football player, and neither of them had powers.
And then one day,
the kid who's not the all-star and is like the introverted one. He's the one who develops the powers.
Ooh, interesting dynamic.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And there's 2 seasons. I'm pretty sure there might be 3, but I've seen 2.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I pulled it up on IMDb.
See, look at I'm so happy I told you to pull them all up on IMDb now, right?
Superman and Lois. It's ongoing. 2021. I don't know where it says how many seasons.
IMDb's usually
it doesn't say.
It's usually like right under where it says episodes. So look, I'm showing you.
3 seasons. There's 3 seasons.
You were right.
But I've seen 2.
You got to catch up.
I do. But it's like I couldn't watch them live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have cable.
Yeah.
I'm not cool like that.
You're not cool like that.
No. But I personally really like that show. And the dynamic is different. And the Superman action is just probably the best Superman that we've seen in a TV show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've already talked about like my thing with Superman and why I just can't stand behind Superman. Like I would if bullets were coming at me, but like in other but I think he's just too much, right? Too strong, too powerful. And I think that's probably why Superman's never really resonated with me.
But he's not.
No, but like
what's his weakness?
The kryptonite.
What's his other weakness?
Love.
Lois.
Yeah.
Human beings, just humans in general.
So,
Earth.
But like that's not often explained in Superman stuff, right? Right?
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe you just haven't seen enough.
But again, I'm like, this guy can't be killed, can't be stopped. Normally.
But like your knowledge of Superman goes as far as what? Man of Steel?
I watched all the like freaking Reeves ones and stuff.
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah. Read some of the comics. Couldn't tell you which ones.
Okay.
There was cartoons.
Yeah, I mean he's all powerful. He's
definitely
super powerful.
I definitely struggled to play the N64 game a lot.
That was a fun game.
No, it's not.
I had fun.
With flying through rings through a gray city. Yeah. No one had fun with that game. You're the only person.
I had fun with that game.
You're the only person.
But yeah, like Superman definitely has like, so he's all powerful, but it's like his need and want to hold back is what it like simmers him down. It makes him like not as powerful as his powers let him be. You know what I mean? And it's like just really easy to jump the gun on Superman because he's not thinking about himself all the time.
It's a good way to look at it, I guess.
What's number 10 on your list?
So we're bringing it down a little bit, down to just not superhuman levels, really, I guess. To a little show from 2007 called Chuck.
Nice.
I love this show. I think it's really underrated for how many seasons it ran, because it was 5 seasons, right? I showed you the thing. We both know. Yeah, 5 seasons.
5 seasons.
I remember binging this show when we lived together, actually, because I had watched the first couple seasons when they were airing, but then I stopped watching it, or at least the first season. I don't remember what it was. And then they put it on like Netflix or whatever, and I ended up watching a lot of it.
Yeah, all of them.
I think Killian got into it with us. You had already seen most of it or all of it, and I don't know. There's something about this show, like it feels like a goofy, zany sitcom type of show.
Yeah.
But then it hits you with like really serious like moments. Like there's some moments that made me cry, made me tear up.
Yeah.
Especially the finale of the whole show. But this is when I really like started loving like Zachary Levi as an actor.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Like kind of like put Zachary Levi on the map for us.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was his first big hit, but
no,
at the
like
same
I said,
time,
I think the show was really underrated for the time. Like, I don't remember a lot of people talking about it.
When did it come out?
2007.
Oh, okay.
And it went until 2012.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
It went for a while. But yeah, I do love that show. It's a good show, and it's still kind of superhero-esque.
It's got more of like the spy kind of vibes, like Austin Powers almost, you know, where it's silly and goofy and it's really over the top sometimes, but it also feels like
serious
grounded
and gritty.
Yeah. And then I think with like all the supporting actors and stuff, like he's got his goofy friends, and then he's got like was it like Casey and Sarah, right? And like they're like, Casey's super strict and super like you know, like how many times does he growl in that show? But then there's Sarah, the love interest, right? And it's always the whole like, are they gonna get together, will they, won't they kind of dynamic,
right?
And then Chuck is just a dude, you know what I mean? And when he starts really like getting into the vibe and like getting like taking it serious, like, oh, I do have all this knowledge in my head, is when the show really starts feeling like a spy, like comedy drama type of deal. Not really drama, but that's a loose drama term. But I don't know. I watched all the episodes. I still think about the ending of it a lot. It's just fun, and I think the only thing that holds it back is it's very much a product of its time. Like, it feels like a show from the late 2000s or early 10s, you know. The music and like the editing, it's like really quick paced and lots of like whips and cuts and stuff. But overall, it's one of my favorites, but it did end up in the number 10, almost 11 slot for me, just because it's not really a show that's easy to rewatch all the time.
Yeah, especially not all the way through either.
I definitely have skipped to like season 3 or something, like,
or like it's one of those shows that you put on and you fall asleep and you don't bother to go back.
And that's how like Chuck is, or Psych is for me now too, which is why they're kind of interchangeable in number 10.
Yeah,
I don't get mad when I put them on. I will fall asleep to them. I'll do chores to them, but they're not like any of the other shows on my list. So.
Yeah,
that's my piece on Chuck. You like Chuck? I
love Chuck.
We like Zachary Levi. We like Yvonne Strahovski a lot.
Also didn't make my list at all.
Which is another one that's weird for me to hear from you. It's like you were probably one of the people who told me to watch that show the most.
Yeah.
You're like, are you kidding me? You haven't seen this? It's on the list.
Same with Psych, though.
Psych
I did
too.
the same with Psych.
But like, I think Psych we both liked, and then we realized we both liked it. But your mom really likes Psych.
She still does. She loves it.
And I think she's got a lot to do with our love for Psych. Like, I don't know. I look up to your mom when it comes to nerdy shit, because she's nerdy as heck, just like us. But I don't know. She I love when your mom is really into something, because she's really into it, and then it just makes it seem like I can be into
that much better.
Yeah. You're like, basically what I'm saying, because I know she's listening, is your mom has good taste. So. Do you want me to go for a number 9 now? Just
sure.
To keep going?
Go for it.
So I'm not sure if this is a show that you love as much as I do. And there's a lot of this show that I don't love. Why is it on my top 10 list? Because the parts that I do love, I really fucking love. So this is a show from back in 2004.
Whoa.
This is a show that I was super excited about, like leading up to the premiere of episode 1. And I'm pretty sure the first episode was like an hour, 2 hours long or something, and it felt like a movie. This show has a lot of really great actors in it who went on to do other stuff afterwards that I like, and there's also people in it from before the show that I really like. And this is the only one on my list that's not necessarily a comedy. The show is called Lost.
I do like Lost.
I know you don't like it as much as I do.
Once.
All the way through?
All the way through. One time.
There are seasons of the show that I skip when I do rewatch it. But I liked this show so much when it came out that I watched it on cable every night that it aired. if I missed it, I would go through the TV Guide channel until I saw the repeat of it coming on and wait for it. There was even, they premiered the last episode at a local theater here in Tucson, and I begged my parents to let me go.
Did you go?
No.
Oh.
But they did let me and our friend John watch it at on the big TV at my dad's,
Nice.
So that was cool. I'll take that. So I remember doing that. Cause this show basically was my show throughout high school. It ran from 2004 to 2010, which was middle school and high school for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I said, some of the actors in it that have really gone off to do a lot of really awesome things. But I don't know, this show, I'm just a stan for J.J. Abrams. I love J.J. Abrams and everything he does.
Yeah.
And if you ever have a chance to watch the behind the scenes of them making episode 1, it's gnarly. They were hauling chunks of a 747 down the highways and back roads in Hawaii, and it's just crazy to see. So that's number 9 on my list.
It's a good show. I'm not gonna lie, it is good. A little confusing at times.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the reason that people don't necessarily like the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's confusing if you really dwell on certain things, because a lot of a lot of questions didn't get answered.
You just gotta watch the whole thing, man.
But if you haven't watched Lost, watch the first episode at least. I watch the first episode at least once a year. Just the pilot. It's so good. It's just so good. But yeah, I'm sorry. You can continue with your number 9 now.
My number 9 is a sci-fi. Like I said, my sci-fi filled list. It's a show that started in 2011. It's called Being Human.
So, sorry to interject because I know I just talked, but I just put this on my watch list.
Did you?
I have watched it. You and me have watched the show before.
Yeah.
I think you told me to watch it, and I really liked it. But I think it's on Prime or...
Oh, is it?
It's on something.
I have to go back and watch it.
I put it on my watch list, though, because I was I found out there's an actor in it that I really like, and I can't remember his name.
Sam Witwer.
No, different one. Someone else who's in the later seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the girl that's in it, I don't remember her name either. Do you have IMDb pulled up? But she was just in a show that I was watching.
Her name is Megan Brath.
She's in a show that I was just watching, and I can't remember the show now. But anyways, I added it to my list because I'm I need to rewatch this. It's been a while.
Is it Mark Pellegrino, the actor you like?
I don't know. You don't have to go through the whole cast.
That's the only one I was thinking of. So yeah, Being Human, the one I'm talking about is the American version.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen both.
Yeah.
I've seen the BBC version and the American version.
Mm-hmm.
They're both really good. I feel like shows on BBC are a little harder to watch.
Yeah.
Just because Americans don't have the attention span as everyone else in the rest of the world. What's that?
What's that?
But this show is really good for those of you who have never seen it. It's about a ghost, a vampire, and a werewolf are roommates.
And they were roommates.
They were roommates. Oh my God, they were roommates.
It's about them being human.
Yeah, they're trying to fit in.
Yeah.
With everyday life, and they're roommates, and at first they don't like each other.
Yeah, duh.
And then the vampires and the werewolves have this rivalry thing. The beef. And there's a ghost, and they didn't know the ghost lived there at first, and the ghost can't leave the house, and it just kind of expands.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a really good job explaining everything and going into each person's storyline.
Yeah, because you learn about their backstories a little bit. And yeah, no, I don't know if I ever finished, because there's only a couple seasons of it, right? It got canceled.
I think
It's like 3.
Look it up.
You can look it up with IMDb. IMDb.
There is. Oh shit.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even click on the IMDb page.
No.
There is. 4 seasons.
4. So I don't think I watched all 4 seasons. But again, like I said, there's someone in those. I'll figure it out and I'll get back to you about it. But I just remember really liking that show, and I don't think I ever finished it. And also Sam Witwer, we like Sam Witwer. Like, look at him, all he's done for other pop culture things in our time.
Exactly.
And I think that show really like kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a stepping stone, but I don't think it hurt, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good choice. It's a great show. I haven't watched it since you told me to watch it. When did it come out?
2011.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. And it just reminds me though, there was another show in this vein of like, I feel like our list so far has all been shows except for Superman and Lois, because I just don't watch it. Yeah. But so far this
don't watch it.
This little list so far, a lot of these shows are shows that we've told each other to watch. But it reminds me, do you remember that show Eureka?
Yes.
Yeah, not on my list. Great show. You told me to watch it. I ate it up, and I just put that in my watch list too, because I was like, I haven't watched this in a while. But yeah, no, the good shows. Yeah, good shows. We have a lot of the same like taste in like media, so it's like easy to share shows and movies between
with each other. Yeah.
So, but then it's cool because I have things like my next one on my list, which is my number 8, which I don't think you've seen.
Okay.
So this one is one of those shows if I'm having a bad day and I really just need to pick me up, or if it's late and I can't sleep, I'll put it on, because I've seen it so many times, because there's only 2 seasons of it, that I don't care where it is. I'll know what's going on, and they're all like contained into 1, maybe 2 episodes sometimes. But it's a little show that came out in 2012, and I watched the first season in 2012 and then never again until a couple years ago now. But it's called Gravity Falls.
I have not seen it, but I've seen clips, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should watch it, and then I just don't.
So for me, Gravity Falls is like, it's a sci-fi show. There's like supernatural, paranormal stuff going on, right? It reminds me a lot of that show like Eureka, where just weird shit happens in this town and no one knows why.
Yeah.
But it's also it is a animated show that was on Disney, not the actual Disney Channel, Disney XD. You remember?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it wasn't on regular Disney Channel. But one of the guys from this show was really close with the creator of Rick and Morty. So it's got a lot of that similar kind of humor, but it's a little more family friendly. It's really colorful, bright. I think the characters are really interesting. Like Dipper and Mabel are twins who spend their summer at their great uncle's tourist trap in Oregon. The setting's cool because it's like Midwest and foresty and dark and kind of spooky sometimes too. And like, all the characters are really fun, really funny. But if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it. It's only 2 seasons. It's pretty short. It's pretty easy to get through.
And they did put Gravity Fall Easter eggs in Rick and Morty.
They did both, so like back and forth.
Oh, really?
So there's a lot of things that kind of like tie them together a little bit, and I think that's really cool. Like Alex Hirsch, who's creator of the show, really like, I don't know. I'm really mad that it didn't like do more episodes or more seasons, but also it's so good where it's at that it's tricky, if that makes sense. If you get what I'm putting down.
I understand exactly what I'm putting down.
Exactly. But yeah, just a good show all around. The cast is solid. Like Linda Cardellini is in it. She plays Velma in the live action Scooby-Doo's. Just that's a broader audience one there for people to know about. I know her best from Freaks and Geeks. Kristen Schaal plays Mabel. She's the voice of Mabel. I'll talk a little bit more about her when I talk about not my next show on the list, another show on my list.
Mm-hmm.
You'll recognize her, and then you'll probably put together where, like where she fits in. But that's my number 8, right? We're on 8. Are you good? Did your mic break again? Are you having technical difficulties? You got it?
She's just a little seized up.
We haven't used the mic stands in a little while, so.
Should I go to my number 9? I mean, number 8.
I was like, you already said your number 9.
My number 8.
Your number 8
is a wonderful show.
Wonderful show.
Another sci-fi.
Of course. Is it? Have I seen it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not sure actually. It's a wonderful show from 2008. It aired for 7 seasons.
Wow, it's a big show.
True Blood.
Okay, so yeah, I have seen some of it. I didn't know you loved it that much.
I love it. I actually just rewatched it like a few months ago.
Shooky.
And there's something about vampires that speaks to me when they're Southern. You know what I mean? I imagine a vampire should have a Southern accent. I don't know why.
You don't know. Just all your vampires now have Southern accents?
All my vampire fantasies have come true in the show True Blood.
So I remember when the show came out, I watched it. It was, where was it on? HBO?
HBO.
And then I ended up getting the books that it's based on because I wanted to see how they translate. Sorry, this is a side quest on here. Like, I'm going on a tangent. I put the book... I was reading the book while doing laundry, and then I put it in my clothes hamper and just dumped it into the the washing machine, the paperback book, a whole book, into the washing machine with all my clothes, and then an hour and a half later forgot that the book was in there.
Yeah.
And pull out all my clothes, and every single article of clothing in there had little pieces of paper.
Shredded paper.
You want to know how far I got in that book? Like chapter 2.
Oh, man.
And then I never got the book again because I was like, I'm done reading, and I've never read a book since.
I think it's like very interesting to see because it was like the first time you really saw vampires in today's world. You know what I mean? Like, there was always these rules and all this stuff about vampires, which you want to see, and you don't see it often anymore in these vampire shows. Yeah, or shows with vampires. And this one was very like traditional vampire backstory, but in today, like they lived long enough to live until 2008, and it's like, okay. They can't enter the room unless you invite them in. They are sensitive to garlic. They're sensitive to silver. You know what I mean? Like just a classic vampire. Yeah. You know, with a Southern accent.
Shooky. I'm quoting The Office. I don't know if you get it. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've never watched The Office, dude.
Andy dresses up as what's his face from that show? What's his name? It's your favorite, dude. It's on your list.
I just fucking watched it too.
Shooky.
I'm gonna be so Bill Compton.
Yeah, so he dresses up like him, and he's got the fake teeth in, and there's just a cutaway, and he's just shooky.
Oh my god!
No, but I have not watched past I think the first season of that show.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's real good.
I feel like it got really crazy, and then I think the vampire craze in the world was also at its height when that show came out, because like Twilight was around, blah blah blah. So I feel like I was like really like cool with vampires, and then Twilight kind of ruined vampires, you know?
Yeah.
When was the last vampire thing that really like took off and like everyone was all obsessed with, right? Twilight. What else after that? We don't fucking know because Twilight.
Vampire Diaries?
Is that about actual vampires?
I think.
I've never watched it.
Neither have I.
I'm like, is it a clever name or is it actually vampires?
Yeah.
But did that come out before Twilight or after Twilight?
After.
Or because of Twilight? You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Same with like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
That movie was sick.
It's not good, but it is sick.
I like that movie.
Didn't we see that at midnight?
I think so.
Yeah.
At the Tower Theater.
Shook it.
The Tower Theater.
So what number are we on now? 7? We're already half an hour into this episode.
7.
We gotta speed it up a little bit.
Speed her up, dude.
So next is 7. You go for it.
Sure, and I can make this one short and sweet because there's a lot to talk about with this show.
Okay.
You've seen it.
Okay.
I told you to watch it.
Okay.
It's Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
Doctor Who. It's got to be Doctor Who.
I don't think you told me to watch it. I think you just had it on a lot, and I started sitting down and was like, I'm not saying you didn't tell me to.
No.
Listen to me. Let me finish my sentence. I think you were watching it, and I started asking you a million questions about it, and you were like, all you need to do is start here, watch it. So I guess you did tell me to watch it.
I told you to watch it, and I told you to watch it before we lived together. And you were like,
not for me.
Not for me. No thanks.
Not for me.
And then we were at our first Comic-Con ever, and then I was talking, like, Eric was asking questions about Doctor Who. He's like, I've heard about it, but like, because he saw people cosplay it, and I'm like, oh, let me tell you. And I started telling him all about the show.
Hold my drink.
And then, like, driving home, you're like, hey, I think we should watch Doctor Who. And I was like...
I think you legit hit me in the back of the head. Because weren't you in the back seat crammed in with everyone else?
Yeah, so just like...
I think you legit hit the back of my seat. No, but that's the glory of Comic-Con, right? Like, it opened up a... Think about like how we weren't really like out loud about being nerdy before we went to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And like shout out to Phoenix Fan Fest or whatever it's called, Fan Fusion. Shout out to them because I think we were still like kind of shy about embracing our nerdy like geeky behavior and like the things we liked, like video games and comic books and fucking superhero movies, because that we didn't dress up for that one, you know. We just went. I think Eric dressed up. Wasn't he Wolverine?
I don't remember what he was.
He had the claws, remember?
He brought me something to wear. I was Tony Stark.
Oh yeah I remember. But we didn't really plan to do anything, right? And then the next year immediately we had fucking full on cosplays. Like
at that Comic-Con I met Sam Witwer.
You did?
Yeah. Which is really cool.
I don't remember. I met Michael Rooker.
I think that's when I told you to watch Being Human.
It might have been.
I was like,
no, because I
full circle here.
I watched that show when I was living with my parents still.
Being Human?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, or at least I remember the TV I watched it on. And I definitely didn't have that TV when we lived together.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could go on and on about Doctor Who. Because we definitely didn't talk about Doctor Who at all right now. We talked about Comic-Con. But yeah, I really like Doctor Who. I haven't watched it since Matt Smith left. Which I like Peter Capaldi a lot. What was the girl's name who took over after him?
No clue.
Jodie.
I have
Jodie
no
something.
idea where her name is.
She was great.
I can pull it up on IMDb, which is open.
But I did watch a couple. I watched a couple Peter Capaldi ones, and I just really couldn't get behind him. You know, like I just didn't like him as much as the previous 3 Doctors.
Yeah.
I thought the visuals were good, and the action was good, and the storylines were good. And then I think it's Jodie Whittaker, right?
Well, I'm taking too much time because they're literally listing every single doctor. But
then when Peter Capaldi left, I started watching some of the ones.
Jodie Whittaker.
I was right. Look at that. Jodie Whittaker. I watched a couple of hers, like the first couple episodes of when she took over. And I really liked them. And then I just never watched it again.
They were very cinematic.
They were. And it felt like they finally had the budget that I wish they had with like Eccleston. But I like so much of that show. And I've watched so many episodes of Doctor Who. Because of you. And I still think like I find friends, and then I have a funny story about one of my closest friends. We were on a work trip together, and they were playing Doctor Who in the lobby of this hotel. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I love this episode. And I thought she was joking. And then we discovered, after being friends for years already at this point, that she loved Doctor Who just as much as I did.
Really?
And I thought that was funny as fuck.
That's cool.
But I'll never forget, like, because we watched that show, that we got to meet a bunch of people.
The entire cast?
Yeah. And I thought that was really sick. We didn't meet like Matt Smith or like David Tennant or anything.
Well, we met.
Have you ever had a dream when you think you could
we met River Song.
Mm-hmm. Rose. Are you good?
We met Rose.
Did you blank? Lady.
I'm trying to think who we met.
Lady Vostra.
Uh-huh.
What's the dude's name who looks like a potato?
Uh-huh.
And then one other person was in that picture.
Is this fine. You testing me or
no? I can't think either. But we got most of them. That's fine. Because now we're.
But then Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Was also in ER.
No way. I didn't know that. I've never watched ER.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I love ER.
I know you do. Is it on your list?
It's not.
Fuck. But like I said, we could talk about Doctor Who for
honorable mention.
An entire episode, you know? But my next one on my list is a newer show from 2020. Yeah. It's run for just a couple seasons now, and it's already over. Even though unfortunately, they're talking about. So there's 3 seasons, but they're talking about bringing another season back, and I don't think they should. But the show's Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this show, but I haven't seen anything about it.
You should definitely check it out. The show is like a classic fish out of water story about a American football coach who goes to coach soccer, in London. And I think that's really like a fun like premise, but it's also like Jason Sudeikis, like based on a character that he played as a joke on ESPN. Mm-hmm. And they made an entire character and story out of this.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's really funny. But it's also really heartwarming, and there's a lot of really solid like advice in this. Like, if you're someone who's looked up to as like a leader or someone that people like really follow, like it's a show that you should definitely watch because Ted Lasso is just so optimistic when everyone else is rooting for him to fail. And then Brendan Hunt, who's one of the creators, is also in it, and he plays Coach Beard. One of the funniest fucking people I've ever seen in my life. Like him in that show. Just hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Brett Goldstein, like the 3 of them together, like I don't know, Brett Goldstein's such a good writer, and he's got
Hercules.
Yeah. But he's also a really good like comedic actor, and if you see him in the show, like I don't know, I say watch it. Like it's really solid, really funny. There's some hit or miss episodes, you know, towards the end of the seasons or the series, but overall, I'm perfectly happy with this show not coming back. So that's my opinion as a fan. I don't want them to continue because they don't need to.
Okay.
Should we try to speed round a couple of these?
Yeah, let's do it.
So the hardest part of this is I love all these shows so much.
I know. I could definitely probably speed around the rest of my list because there's just so much to talk about with these shows.
A lot of the shows on my list from here, except for the next 2. So my top 4 are definitely all the same vibe, same kind of feel, same. They explain my sense of humor fully.
Okay.
But the next one on my list is Flight of the Conchords.
It's number 6.
Yeah.
That one is very funny.
Like, it's so dry.
Yeah. Dry humor.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it back in the day when we were younger.
Because it's an older show. It's from 2007, and it got canceled in 2009.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. It only ran for 2 seasons.
But it was just fun because they would sing their songs. Yeah. They would do the small music videos. Mm-hmm. And it would just like kind of lead into the music videos. Yeah. So it was just like.
It's like a musical.
A small musical.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think Brett and Jermaine are two of my favorite comedians of all time. And like seeing them in a show like this is really fun.
Which one is Brett? Brett's the one with the longer hair?
I mean, in my eyes, they both have shaggy hair. But Jermaine. So Jermaine's got the glasses, and he's the one that's the bad guy in
Jermaine.
Jermaine. No, there's no R.
Jermaine.
No, Jermaine. But he's the bad guy in
Pam.
He's the villain in Men in Black 3.
Okay. He was in Avatar: The Way of the Water.
No way.
Yeah, he was.
That's so cool.
Yeah, when I saw him,
I still don't want to watch it.
What?
And then Brett went on to write.
Hey, that's Jermaine.
Brett went on to write the music for one of our favorite movies together, The Muppets.
Oh, with Jason nice. Segel. That's really cool.
Am
I a man?
What's the next one on your list?
The next one on my list is, drum roll please, another sci-fi show.
Like from the channel Sci-Fi or science fiction show?
Science fiction show.
Okay, the drum roll's good.
All right. Star Trek The Next Generation.
Never seen it.
Seen it like 6 times.
Yeah.
And I love it.
You do.
But I've seen Next Generation. I've seen Voyager. I've seen Deep Space Nine. I've seen every single one. Mm-hmm. Don't love the original ones. I know it's a very controversial thing to say.
How could you?
I don't love Captain Kirk. I'm sorry.
So my extent of the knowledge of Star Trek is just the J.J. Abrams movies because I love J.J. Abrams. But I like those movies for what they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
For what they are.
Yeah.
For what they are.
Yeah. You should watch the newer Star Trek ones. I haven't seen them yet.
Uh-huh.
But like they're literally like still airing right now.
Okay. Are you good? Did
Yep.
you almost throw up? Is this what you get for having a soda before we go on to podcast? And you're like, do you want a soda? And I'm like, no, I don't want a soda.
I do have soda. But no, I heard that they're going back to like Captain Pike and all that, and it seems like it's just better quality, like CGI and better quality.
And see, that's not the problem with the show. I think it's just I was a Star Wars kid, you know, like I watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
My parents didn't like Star Trek, so I watched Star Wars, and it just kind of rubbed off that way. Like, did your parents show you Star Trek?
Yeah.
Did they show you Star Wars?
Yeah.
And now you love both of them.
Mm-hmm.
My parents did not watch Star Trek.
All right. We're speed rounding this.
Speed round. Next one on mine is The Bear.
Still haven't watched that. I don't have Hulu.
I have Hulu.
I know you told me to do it, but
as someone who works in the food industry and someone who's worked in restaurants, a lot of the problems they face are things that I've dealt with. Mm-hmm. But also, I think just the cast itself, like Jeremy Allen White and everything, like they're just great.
He's great.
He's great, and in the show, like his stress levels and the things that he's going through are really.
Is he really Gene Wilder's son?
I don't know. Is that a thing?
I saw a thing. It was like them next to each other. It was like
are you sure it's just not someone saying they look alike?
I don't know.
Why didn't you make him Willy Wonka then in the new Wonka movie?
Why is he? If you're not Gene Wilder's son, why not?
Why not?
Why aren't you Gene Wilder's son?
So I have my 4 ready to go. Okay. So get to your top 4.
My number 5.
Uh-huh.
Squid Game.
Really?
Yeah.
In your top?
Yeah.
The one season.
Top 5.
Wow.
It's a one season, but it's very unique.
It is. No, I agree.
It's unique.
I thought about it.
Yeah. And you know, it would Squid Game kind of, other than Tiger King, took over the world for a hot minute.
No, and it's funny that it's not funny. Funny is not the right word, but it's like
so funny.
It's odd or weird or strange or way out of left field that a foreign show, like a foreign language show, is as popular as this one. And I think we all like felt that way when it got popular.
Yeah, when it got popular, and obviously I didn't watch it right away. I'm like, what is this? What is Squid Game? And then like
they play games with squids.
And I don't know who told me, but I'm probably like a coworker or something, and they were just like, "You gotta watch it."
I remember and that was same thing.
Definitely so out of left field that it was like a South Korean show just became out of nowhere so popular.
Yeah,
and it's just I don't know. It's great. It's great and it's unique, and it's like I could probably watch it over and over. You know?
Yeah.
I wish they made a season 2.
It's coming.
When?
It's all over Netflix right now, so it's got to be soon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't
like
been on
Squid
Netflix
Game's
in a
The
while.
Challenge or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on its way. It's almost done.
Okay.
They're just doing the final touches. All right, so the final 4.
Yeah.
The important ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really simple for me to break.
Nervous.
Are you? It's really simple for me to rope the next 3 in together. So I will. The reason that these 3 are where they're at is solely, I'm going to just say them. Number 4 for me is How I Met Your Mother, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. But there are a lot of problems with that show. A lot of the jokes are really outdated. Like, it doesn't hold up now. Like, a lot of the humor is funny because I grew up in that time, you know, when it came out.
It's for millennials.
It really is. But also for our parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but a lot of that humor just doesn't fly nowadays, and some of it's like really like I don't know the word for it. It's just like risque.
Outdated jokes.
It came out, you know, in the 2005. One of the worst series finales of all time, and I think that dropped it down.
Yeah.
But everything leading up to it, like, there's so many good episodes, and I just love Jason Segel and like Josh Radnor and like the whole cast like is solid. Kobe Smulders, Allison Hannigan, Allison Hannigan, that's her name.
Hannigan.
Okay. And then Neil Patrick Harris, fucking solid.
Of course, solid all the time.
And that was like his return to like acting. You know what I mean? Like he was kind of out of the spotlight for a while, and I love that almost everyone's significant other plays a role in the show, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, it's number 4 for me. Number 3, and this was tough. This was tough to put this one at number 3 because you know it's one of my all-time favorite shows.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna be a little shocked that it's number 3.
Okay.
The Office.
Okay.
There's a big reason why it's number 3 on my list. And it's a lot to do with the last couple seasons. I think the show kind of hit a wall when Steve Carell left.
Did he leave?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's some good moments after he leaves. But I just think it just didn't work after that. Like he really held that show. And if anyone's a manager of any place out there and you need a guide on what not to do, this show's perfect for you. But this show is, again, one of those shows I can just put on in the background. Just veg out. I will pay attention or I won't, and I'll know exactly where I'm at. And then number 2 for me is Scrubs.
Nice.
Again, Scrubs is that same kind of vibe as The Office and How I Met Your Mother, where I can just put it on. I can watch it all the time, but I think the show has so much heart, and the characters like have so much chemistry with each other, and the fact that it is it is a really medically accurate show, is really interesting to me. Even though I don't like all the other medical shows. But the fact that there's the comedic effects and like the flashbacks and the daydreaming and like all that kind of stuff really just seals the deal for me. So yeah. Scrubs is solid. Like it's one of
That's your number 2.
That's my number 2.
Okay. So where was I? Okay, number 4. Number 4 for me. Animated series.
Oh.
1 season currently. Invincible.
See, I was going to put it on my list. Because it is great. It is so good.
It is very good. And very just...
Not okay for kids.
Yeah, it's very just like everything that we've always wanted in an animated series.
Especially superheroes.
Yeah.
You know?
And, the cast is really good.
Mm-hmm. It's like Stephen Yang or Young is Invincible. And then J.K. Simmons is his dad. Omni-Man. That twist, dude. Because I really don't want to spoil it too much.
Yeah, because season 2 is gonna come out, and I'm sure there's people who haven't seen season 1 and might jump on the train. So we probably shouldn't spoil it.
And did you watch the Adam Eve special?
No, but dude, I need to.
You need to. It's so good. No, that show's solid, and I was gonna put it on my list. Like when I was putting Gravity Falls on my list, I was like, yeah.
What made me watch it? Because I'm not really like in touch with like at the time when it came out, I was like Marvel. Right. I was like Marvel this, Marvel that, getting like fan theories, like doing all this stuff, you know. So it's like I saw a TikTok, I think, of the fight scene between all the superheroes.
Okay, with Omni-Man. And the dudes, the guys, the people.
Yeah. The team.
The team.
Yeah. And that, I watched that. I said, "This is a real show."
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like a fan-made thing. I was like, "No, this is real."
Yeah.
I'm watching it.
So
tonight.
You know what's cool? Like you watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Did you read the comics or anything like that?
No, but I watched up to season 7.
Yeah, I gave up on that show really early on. But the guy who wrote the comics wrote Invincible.
Oh, cool.
So that is a lot of the reason why it is gory and like very mature. But dude, like the show and the animation is so like it's a common like animation style, I guess. Like it has that anime kind of feel, vibe, look to it. But it's very like easy to approach. Easy
to watch too. Yeah. It's not like it doesn't get choppy. It doesn't get like too overboard with the animation. Yeah, it's really good.
I had no idea what that show was when it came out. I think what it was like in between seasons of The Boys, because that was another one that is another honorable mention for me. Because I really like The Boys, and I like the gritty like aspect of like superheroes, like the shit that we don't see in Marvel and DC, right? Like, yeah, DC gets kind of gritty, but like if some dude really had super strength and punched someone and they would explode, you know what I mean? Like that opening scene of The Boys where A-Train like runs through the dude's girl.
Yeah.
Like that shit would happen. Yeah. You know? Like and I think that's why like The Boys and like Invincible are so popular, I guess. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Even like Invincible is a little easier to watch than The Boys because The Boys gets into some really dark shit.
And nasty sexual stuff as well.
Yeah. But again, like The Boys has that realism factor of like, think of celebrities and like, you know, rich, powerful people. Like they get away with some shit, but add superpowers to that shit.
Yeah.
But Invincible is so good, and like the twists. Again, I don't want to spoil it. There's so many twists in that show.
Yeah.
And there's so many awesome characters and like silly superpowers, but also like really cool superpowers. Like Monster Girl, like her super. Can I talk about that? Is that a big spoiler?
I don't think so.
Anytime she turns into a monster, she regresses in age, so she like gets younger anytime she turns into her Hulk form.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's fucked. Yeah. You know? She's like, I'm actually 37, and she looks like an 11-year-old girl, and it's like, shit. Like,
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. I can't wait for season 2. Watch Adam and Eve, dude.
I will.
It's like 2 hours long. One episode technically, but it's her whole backstory, and it's really good.
Okay, I thought it was a season. That's why I didn't jump into it. You know?
No, watch it, dude. It's so good.
Okay. So my number 3, is, you'd be happy to know, same writers as The Boys.
Are you playing footsies? We get a desk and you start playing footsies?
It's the same writers as The Boys. Supernatural.
Okay.
I love Supernatural.
I know you do.
I didn't get into Supernatural right away, though. So it came out in 2006. And I started watching it in 2018.
Okay. A little bit after.
Yeah. So, like, my mom was super into it.
Just finished or, like, right?
It finished, I think, in 2020.
So like just finished, right? So it's been on for a long time.
Yeah.
And the only history I have with the show is I think Killian was obsessed with it.
And it was 15 seasons.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But my mom told me to watch it for a long time, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I get it.
I was just the kind of person to like not want to watch shows that were super popular at the time, you know? Like all the cult, like the captivating, you know, everyone's talking about it. I'm just like, yeah, go fuck off. You know? And so,
like Gossip Girl and
like Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad? Have you watched it?
No. Don't want to.
Honorable mention for Breaking Bad, by the way. I was gonna put it on my list, but it's not a show I can rewatch a lot. Stop touching your microphone if you're gonna keep breaking it. You're gonna keep breaking it. And this is why those episodes going longer than planned. Are you good over there?
Okay.
You're good?
I'm okay. But yeah, I started watching at season 13. But I started from the beginning. I think I was like sick one weekend, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. I live by myself. I'm gonna fucking just chill on the couch with my cat and watch Supernatural.
Box of tissues.
I watched
orange juice.
13 seasons in a matter of like 3 months.
That's insane.
I watched it every day. Every second.
Whenever I had free time.
Every waking second I had free. I was watching it.
Okay.
And I watched it all. And then I obviously had to wait for season 14 and 15. And the way they ended the show, bro.
Yeah.
Brought tears to my eyes, dude.
Yeah. So I didn't know the guys who wrote that, or the writing team for that show, went on to write The Boys. But that's funny because I knew that there was a character in The Boys played by one of those actors, like the...
Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, there you go.
He's
Soldier Boy. Soldier
Boy. And they're trying to get Jared apart too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was him for the first couple episodes he was in, because he doesn't play anything that would make sense for him, because he always seems so cool. You know what I mean? Like he's so nice.
One of the higher ups in The Boys. I don't really know. He doesn't play a huge role. He's like kind of like a redheaded older man. He was in Supernatural too for like 13 of those seasons.
Yeah. Wild. That's crazy. I've never watched Supernatural. I've never seen an episode of it.
Yeah.
I know a lot about it from like the fan base, I guess. And I know there's a car that's special and there's a song that's special, and like
they're all special.
Yeah. I know they hunt demons, right? Is that what it is?
They hunt demons. And then it gets into like the lore of like, you know, demons and angels and the devil and God even, and it's just like they even put like their own twist on all these grim lore, I guess. Not really grim, but you know what I mean? Like they have grim styles, like they fight jinn, they fight werewolves, they fight like straight up ghosts, witches. They got everything you can think of that is in that category. They're hunting it.
So I'm just gonna say it.
I'm gonna say it.
I don't care that you broke it. I don't care that you broke your elbow. No, but I think a lot of the reason that I never watched that show was just like the fans of that show, you know?
Yeah, and you know what, dude?
And there's nothing wrong with them. I'm just saying, like, it's again what you said, where it's like there was so much love or so much hype or people were so into this thing. I was like, I don't want to watch that.
Another thing, though, is like because of Jensen and Jared, it was a very high female fan base because who don't want them? You know what I mean? But, you know, like right off the bat, I'm like, it's going to be like made for women. You know what I mean? It's going to be,
I get that.
Like kind of like a chick flick type of thing, but not really, you know? Like that's just what I originally thought. And then when I gave it a chance, I loved it, dude. I still love it to this day. And I actually do want to go back and watch them again because it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time. You should watch it.
Maybe.
It's a big commitment, though.
Yeah, that's a lot of show.
15 seasons. And it's like 20-some per season.
That's a lot. And see, I'm over here like with my number 1 show.
Yeah.
It's just 6 seasons. I haven't
done my number 2 yet.
I'm just saying. It's just 6. You know what I mean?
6
like,
seasons?
Yeah. Most of my shows are like 10 seasons or less, you know? But what's your number 2?
My number 2, and we've talked about it before on the podcast, so we don't have to talk about it too much. Game of Thrones.
Never seen it.
I watched it recently, and I loved it. And the thing about Game of Thrones is like, it's like that medieval time feel, but then it's gory.
Yeah,
they're doing shit. You know what I mean?
They're doing each other.
They're doing each other. They're traveling.
Yeah.
They're fighting monsters. They're fighting kings and queens. And going to war and chopping off hands. It's just like it's a good show.
See, and again, like I told you, I've watched the first couple episodes like 3 or 4 times trying to get into it, and I just can't.
The biggest thing about Game of Thrones, which is why it was like I was teeter-tottering between number 2 and number 3, because I was like, Supernatural, I love it so much, but then Game of Thrones has the shock factor that gets me in every single season.
Yeah.
Every single season finale.
Gosh, stop.
Every single season finale, I was jaw to the fucking ground. So that's what bumped it up to number 2 for me.
Gotcha. I feel like I have a lot of shows that could have been on my list that feel like that for me. Like Rings of Power was one of those shows that
I haven't watched it.
I loved it, but again, I like the source material a lot. With Game of Thrones, it's like I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter because I could not get past episode 3.
Yeah,
I was just bored. And I love medieval shit. Like, one of my all-time favorite video games is Skyrim, and I don't know, we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
But it's like that same vibe where things are just fucked, you know, and it's medieval times, but everything's fucked. Like,
yeah.
But Game of Thrones, I just couldn't get into it at all.
I understand, and like I said, we talked about it before, and even I was like struggling to get to like the 5th episode. I was just like, what is going on? And then once it kind of like started tying in for like clicking in my brain, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess.
It took a minute. It did take a minute.
But I think a lot of that comes down to like, look at our types of shows. Look at our lists for TV shows. Totally different, right?
You know Ellie from The Last of Us?
Uh-huh. She's in
it. Lady Mormont.
So is Pedro Pascal.
Oh, he is?
He is.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know how he dies?
Nope.
He dies. It's terrible.
Yeah? I wouldn't know. But again, like I said, look at our list, because I was going to put The Last of Us on our list, but I think
I was going to too.
I like the game more than I like the show. But anyways, like our lists are different. You know what
Pedro
I mean?
Pascal gets his head just crushed in, by the way. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'll never watch it.
His fucking eyeballs are like popping out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyways.
But our lists are vastly different. You know what I mean? Like, but again, they intertwine here or there, right? Like most of the shows that I've said, you've seen. Most of the shows that you said, I've seen. And there's a lot of shows that we've seen together, you know, or watched a lot together. Like how many times did we watch How I Met Your Mother when we lived together, or Chuck, or Doctor Who, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
or Psych.
But like when I tell you my number 1, like I don't know if you've seen it, and if you have, you'll understand like why it's my favorite.
Okay.
And I think the listeners will too. But our lists are different, and it's just we have different styles of things that we want to watch, and I'm much more of the kind of person who puts on TV shows for background noise. You know?
I'm just very heavily drawn to sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know?
And see, I like sci-fi movies, but I also like period pieces. You know, like one of my favorite movies of all time is 1917, and if you've seen that, like, it's insane. for like a period piece, you know, like wartime. But like most of my favorite movies are like sci-fi or like action-y comic book movies or whatever, what have you, right? A lot of mine are like TV show wise are pretty grounded, you know?
Yeah.
They're just things. Like the weirdest one on my list is Gravity Falls or Lost, you know? But Lost, like, in a way, could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity Falls, not so much. Gravity Falls reminds me a lot of like Scooby-Doo kind of shit, you know what I mean? But like they actually fight gnomes and fucking Bill Cipher's insane. But like most of the other shit on my list is like just things that could happen, like everyday like things. I don't know.
Everyday life.
And yours are like fantasy and like sci-fi and like out there and crazy. And then it brings me like full circle thinking. Think about when we like write shit, like when we write movies and we write things. It's like for it to. It's gonna sound bad no matter what I say, but like you come here with like huge over the top things, and then I can come in and like ground it and make it possible, if that makes sense, right? It's like you have like some wild fucking idea, like you're like, I just thought about this like fucking crazy thing, and I'm like, yeah, but like if we did it this way and we just change it a little bit, we can actually do it. And I think that's what complements like our styles a lot when it comes to our writing and our like video making and things like that. It's like, look at our lists, you know what I mean? Look at what we're into. Like we have a lot of the same shit, but it's vastly different in like scope. Which again, I don't think it's bad. Like we need to have opposites to like ground each other. And like sometimes maybe my ideas are just too blah. Yeah. And you're like, spruce it up, bitch.
Let's do this. Let's add some spurting blood for no reason.
And I'm like, no, that sounds stupid. And then we do it, and I'm like, that was fucking sick. Like, they'll know what we're talking about eventually. Yeah. But no, I think that's interesting to think about. And I hope the listeners think that's interesting. Like, that's just kind of been our friendship forever. It's like, you're a lot less afraid of being funny and goofy around people, and I've always been like, I'm embarrassed. Yeah. You know? Until like recently, you know. Now I think we're just both like, we're in our 30s. Fuck it. You know,
fuck
like
it.
Who cares?
Fuck it.
But we're way over time, and we haven't talked about our number ones yet.
Let's get into our number one.
At 1 hour and 11 minutes, we're gonna talk about our number one.
Drum roll.
Do we need it?
Drum roll, please.
Do we need it? What's your number one? Or do you want me to go? We didn't discuss who's going after the drum roll.
My number one is Stranger Things.
How is that not on my list? How is that not on my list, Juan?
Are you barely realizing? Like, you didn't even think about it?
No, because I don't know. Stranger Things doesn't feel like a TV show to
I was
me.
like, oh, he purposely didn't put it on his list. Because, like you said, your number one had 6 seasons or something like that. And I was like, no, don't.
Stranger Things is one of my all-time favorite shows, but I don't think of it as a show. You know?
No.
You don't get it. You don't get what I'm saying.
I don't understand.
Okay.
It is a show. I mean, you think of it as like a movie?
Do you want me to say my number one and then explain why? Or do we want... Let's just talk about Stranger Things. Fuck it. Okay. Stranger Things to me, I think it's not a problem, but I think the issue with calling it a show for me is how I watch the show.
Like in bulk.
I watch... Yeah. Season 1, all in one go. You know what I mean? Like, it was all I watched for probably a day and a half.
Yeah.
Season 2, it dropped. I watched the entire thing in one go.
I mean,
Season 3.
I did too.
I watched the whole thing in one go. And then Season 4 is over here like, what season are we on? 4?
Mm-hmm.
Season 4 is like, you're going to watch half of it and then another half. And for me...
Like, no.
Yeah. So, I don't know. For me, like, Stranger Things never popped in my head when we started talking about TV shows.
Really?
Because of the way I watched it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, now don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure it is the most streamed TV show ever.
Yeah. And I have watched Season 1 5 times. I've watched season 2 4 times. Season 3, I've watched 4. Anytime a new season comes out, I watch it from the beginning over again. So there's always one more.
Yeah.
But no, like, I fucking love Stranger Things, like, so much. I have like pictures on my wall. I got a shitty Stranger Things tattoo. I love Stranger Things. I don't know why I didn't think of it on my favorite shows of all time. I would get rid of everything besides my number 1 for Stranger Things.
It's too late now. We're an hour and 13 minutes.
Let's do it again. Now. Let's do it again. Let's start from the top.
Start it over. Stranger Things, and then whatever your number 1 is.
Stranger Things. I was lying about 6 seasons.
No, I love Stranger Things, and it's
so
like
good.
I can't wait for the new season, which now everything's delayed. It's not going to come out for a long time.
Yeah, fucking Netflix not paying its actors and writers and
Disney
stuff.
And everybody. They
pay
all kind of decided to do that.
Pay them.
Pay your paper.
It's the right thing to do. B, I need new shit.
Give us our shit.
Give us our shit. You know how old Finn Wolfhard's gonna look after the strike?
I know. He's gonna have a freaking walker.
I just watched it part 1 for like, I haven't seen it since probably it came out, and he looks so little in that. And then you go and watch Stranger Things 4, and it's like, that's not the same dude.
It was only a couple years apart.
Yeah,
too.
Not even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, no, I feel so stupid right now for not thinking of Stranger Things at all. But again,
you just went through your list, and I was like,
Stranger Things not on there? You know how much I love Stranger Things?
I was like,
it would seriously be tied for number 1 if I remember that it's a show and not a movie.
Yeah.
It's an experience, guys.
It's not a show or a movie.
It's an experience.
It's an experience.
I fucking love that show. That's so dumb of me to not think of. I don't even want to say my number 1 now because I feel so stupid.
What is your number 1?
So my number 1 aired for 6 seasons, and they're currently working on a movie to really just drive home the point of this show's joke, which is 6 seasons in a movie. And the show is Community.
Which one is that?
Community. It's got like Joel McHale and Donald Glover.
Okay. I seen it. Not like
you're missing
religiously.
Out. You're missing out, honestly. This show is constantly one of those.
A movie?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And a big joke in the show was, all good shows run for 6 seasons and a movie. And now they're doing the movie, and it seems like they got most people back. Which is really exciting. Once the writer's strike ends and everything, I'm sure we'll start hearing more about it.
Mm-hmm.
The last we heard, they got everyone except Donald Glover and what's her name? Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Oh my god. Yvette Nicole Brown. The two of them didn't say they were coming back, but I think Yvette Brown said that she was now, and there's like rumors that Donald Glover's down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this show for me is one of those shows, no matter what, I can put it on and I enjoy it. And even like the shitty like Yahoo takeover series or seasons, which isn't good, but I still can get through it really, really easily. And it's just one of those shows, like the Christmas specials I like to watch near Christmas, and like the paintball episodes are some of the best like TV episodes, like for a sitcom type of show.
Yeah.
Because every season almost has a paintball episode, and they're all like homages to like action movies or westerns or things like that, and they're just really solid episodes. But it had its ups and downs for sure, but it is that kind of show where no matter what, I can just put on a random season, random episode, and I fucking laugh still to this day.
Yeah.
And like Dan Harmon's one of the creators, and he like had stuff to do with like the Rick and Morty stuff, but also the Russo brothers helped make the show as well.
Oh, really? That's cool.
So I knew the Russo brothers from this before, like.
Didn't they do something else, or was this their main?
Well, they went off to do like the Avengers, right?
No, I mean like I know people were talking about like, oh, they did a comedy. sitcom show before this. Is that this show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Anthony Russo, right? That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, whatever. But we're so many things going on right now. Yeah, I mean, they did Community. That's about the biggest thing that's on here.
Okay. So it is that show.
Yeah, Community. Yeah, and then immediately after that, just some more movies and everything.
Which was a shock to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That they went from a sitcom show to this huge fucking Avenger
and they did it
saga.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They did it good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Russo brothers era of Marvel movies is going to be like talked about forever.
Yeah.
Because they did it right.
Mm-hmm.
So stoked that like Joss Whedon didn't continue his fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't deserve it.
No.
The Russos nailed it. Their whole era is great. But it started like Community. My love for them started with Community.
Yeah.
And Dan Harmon's super talented, super funny. And I hope that if they do make that movie, that it's just as good as we need it to be, because the last couple seasons of that show like really got dicked around from studios, and like Yahoo did end up buying the show, and they streamed episodes on Yahoo only.
I feel like that killed a lot.
It killed it.
Views.
It's bad. The last season was not good, but it's got moments. But also my number one is Stranger Things. I love everything about it. I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
You gotta cash in.
I'm not gonna sleep.
You gotta
tonight.
cash in to change it.
You gotta cash in.
Cash in.
What do you need?
Got cash in.
I have no cash.
Cash in.
See, the way my bank account works.
I gotta check in the savings. Oh well, after this very long episode.
Yeah, extended
version. Director's cut.
Unrated edition. With the commentary track constantly on. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at
BJ in the morning _.
No, do it right. It sounded like you said BK in the morning.
BJ in the morning _
BJ in the morning _ and on TikTok at
BJ in the morning _
And if you're watching on YouTube, drop us a follow, drop us a like. Tell us in the comments what's your favorite show.
Yeah.
Tell me how stupid I am for not saying Stranger Things, even though it's definitely one of my favorite shows of all time.
This guy.
Yeah. Juan needs a shirt that says, I'm stupid because I'm stupid. He's with me.
I'm with stupid.
Also, if you haven't already followed us on Twitch, we have some stuff planned for the future. So please jump on there, get a head start. Drop us a follow at BJ in the morning.
At BJ in the morning
There you
_
go. There you go. And then, like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, drop that follow, drop that like. And if you're listening on any of your favorite podcast listening apps, make sure to follow us there.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Hit the little bell button if you want to. Just smash that like button. Just hit the. Okay. Just hit the bell. Get notifications when we put new content out. Because if you don't have the bell on, you might miss something.
You might.
Wink. You might miss something if you're not following things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to this extra long, supersized edition of BJ in the morning _ I'm Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
With an _ And we are going to go watch Ahsoka now, because apparently I've gotten so many texts during this episode saying that some shit went down.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched that, watch it.
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
Go watch it. We're going to leave now.
And
we will talk to you
next time.
Good job. Good episode, man.